Imagine you're flying down the highway doing 180 kilometers per hour in a stolen Monaro. You check the rearview mirror and see flashing lights closing in fast. But it's not some boring sedan. It's another Monaro with the same V8 and same power. And the officer behind the wheel knows exactly what your car can do. In the 1970s, Australian criminals were driving muscle cars, so police forces made a decision that seems crazy today. They bought muscle cars too, V8-powered pursuit vehicles that could match anything on the road. What you're about to see are some of the most powerful police cars ever deployed in Australia, and the stories behind them are wilder than you'd think. The Valiant Regal 770 wasn't flashy, but that was the point. Used by Tasmania and Western Australia police, it could blend into traffic until it needed to move. Under the bonnet sat either a 5.2-litre 318 V8 or the larger 5.9-litre 360 V8. Power outputs were around 230 to 245 horsepower gross for the 318 and 255 to 275 for the 360. Paired with a 3-speed automatic, it had enough straight-line speed for highway patrol work. Now, I'm not certain about this, but I believe the top speed was somewhere around 190 kilometers per hour for the 360-equipped models. If anyone has official documentation on police Regal speeds, type it in the comments. I'd love to see verified numbers. The Regal 770 was built for durability, spacious interior, solid body, comfortable suspension. It wasn't designed to win races. It was designed to last through long patrol shifts without breaking down. Compared to what's coming next on this list, the 770 was reliable transport rather than a performance weapon. But reliability mattered in police work. But not every police force wanted a comfortable cruiser. Some states were testing lightweight performance cars that could chase down anything in the city. Various Australian police forces evaluated performance Toranas throughout the early 1970s, though widespread deployment as pursuit vehicles wasn't common. When they were used, they brought a different approach: lightweight, agile, and built for urban pursuits. The performance Toranas, including variants with the upgraded 202 cubic-inch inline-six, featured triple Stromberg carburetors and outputs around 160 horsepower. In a car weighing just over a ton that provided strong acceleration for city work, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour came up in the mid-7-second range for the quickest variants. Top speed was around 180 to 190. For urban patrol and tight street chases, the Torana's compact size and sharp handling were advantages the heavier V8 sedans couldn't match. The Torana's rally-inspired styling, flared wheel arches, and aggressive stance made it instantly recognizable. This was the same platform Peter Brock used to win Bathurst in 1972, proving that lightweight and handling could beat raw power when conditions suited. Some police forces recognized that advantage and put Toranas to work in specific roles, but they were never as common as the big V8 Falcons and Valiants that dominated highway patrol. But while lightweight sixes worked in the city, police needed serious power for open highway work, and Chrysler had a solution that used a 6-cylinder to match V8 performance. Chrysler Australia built specific police pack variants of the Valiant Charger for Queensland and Western Australia. These used the 265 cubic-inch Hemi 6, that's Chrysler's high-performance inline-six with hemispherical combustion chambers. Police pack Chargers typically used the 265 with either a single 4-barrel carburetor or dual carbs, producing outputs in the 200 to 240 horsepower range depending on specification. Most were fitted with automatic transmissions for police work, though some manual examples existed. The Charger's aerodynamic fastback design gave it excellent high-speed stability. The wide stance and low center of gravity helped it stay composed through corners. Inside, officers had a driver-focused dashboard, bucket seats, and a 4-speed manual or automatic gearbox, depending on the specification. Top speed for police spec 265 Chargers was around 200 kilometers per hour, making them genuinely quick for highway patrol work. Acceleration was strong, mid to high 7-second range for 0 to 100 with the automatic, quicker with the manual. The Charger proved that a well-engineered 6-cylinder could deliver V8-level performance when properly developed. Police forces that used them appreciated the combination of speed, handling, and the lower fuel consumption compared to big block V8s. But Ford was building V8-powered Falcons that would become Australian automotive legends, including one that starred in the most famous Australian film of the decade. The Ford Falcon XA and XB in GT specification were Victoria and New South Wales police workhorses throughout the mid-1970s. These were serious pursuit machines built around Ford's 5.8-litre Cleveland V8. The 351 Cleveland in Australian GT trim produced around 300 horsepower gross, enough to push the big Falcon sedan to a top speed around 200 kilometers per hour. 0 to 100 came up in approximately 7 seconds, making it one of the quickest patrol vehicles on Australian highways. The XB GT was the standout. Aggressive blackout grille, twin bonnet scoops, wide muscular stance. Police versions were modified with spotlights, heavy-duty suspension, upgraded cooling systems, and reinforced components to handle extended high-speed running. But performance wasn't just about power. Both XA and XB had improved aerodynamics over earlier Falcons. The sleeker body reduced drag and increased stability at speed. The reinforced chassis handled long patrol shifts, and the braking system provided the stopping power necessary in pursuit situations. The XB Falcon achieved cultural immortality when a modified version appeared in Mad Max as the Pursuit Special. That black XB with its supercharger became one of cinema's most recognizable cars. But the real police spec ones patrolling Australian highways were just as imposing. But Ford wasn't alone in building V8 pursuit vehicles. Holden had an answer that nobody expected, a 2-door muscle coupe wearing police livery. Also, if you find this video interesting, subscribe if you want. It helps me a lot. The Holden Monaro HQ and HT saw limited use in specific police roles, particularly in South Australia and New South Wales. Selected examples were deployed where their combination of performance and presence was deemed useful. Under the bonnet sat Chevrolet's 5.7-litre small block V8, producing around 300 horsepower. That was enough to propel the big coupe to a top speed exceeding 210 kilometers per hour and achieve 0 to 100 in the mid-7-second range. For the early 1970s, those were impressive numbers. The Monaro was built tough, rigid chassis, durable suspension. It could handle long shifts without falling apart. The handling was surprisingly sharp for a big V8 coupe, giving officers advantages in pursuits where cornering mattered. Police examples were equipped with 4-speed manual transmissions for maximum control. Limited slip differentials helped put power down efficiently. Upgraded brakes handled emergency stops. Reinforced cooling systems kept the big Chevy V8 from overheating during extended high-speed work. The Monaro's fast-back styling and wide stance made it unmistakable. In an era when police needed performance advantages against increasingly fast criminal vehicles, the Monaro delivered. But it was never a common sight. Most forces stuck with 4-door sedans for practical reasons. But there was one Australian car that became legendary. A car so fast that when police got their hands on it, criminals had almost no chance of escape. The Ford Falcon Phase 3 holds a unique place in Australian police history. While not a standard fleet vehicle, selected Phase 3 examples were evaluated and used in specific high-performance roles by New South Wales and Victoria Police during the early 1970s. The Phase 3 was powered by Ford's 5.8-litre Cleveland V8, officially rated at 300 horsepower. However, the car's actual performance suggested those figures were conservative. Ford had reasons to understate the numbers during the political climate of the supercar scare. Top speed exceeded 220 kilometers per hour. 0 to 100 came up in the mid-6-second range. In 1971, those were extraordinary numbers for a four-door sedan. I'm not sure if it was officially the fastest sedan in the world at the time, but it was certainly among the quickest production four-doors you could buy anywhere. If anyone has period comparisons with contemporary American or European sedans, share them in the comments. The Phase 3 came equipped with a Holley 4-barrel carburetor, a close-ratio top-loader 4-speed manual gearbox, and a bulletproof 9-inch limited-slip differential. The suspension was race-derived. Braking was serious, vented front discs, rear drums, all designed for rapid deceleration from high speeds. Inside, the GTHO was pure focus, bucket seats, driver-oriented dashboard, central gauges providing all the information needed during high-speed work. Police examples were fitted with radios and sirens, but the core performance remained unchanged. The Phase 3 represented Australian muscle car engineering at its absolute peak. It was developed as a homologation special for Group C touring car racing, which meant the road version was essentially a race car with number plates. When police forces got access to them, even in limited numbers, they had the fastest pursuit vehicle on Australian roads. Today, civilian Phase 3s sell for well over $1 million at auction. Police spec examples, on the rare occasions they surface, attract massive attention from collectors. The Phase 3 remains the ultimate symbol of an era when Australian police had access to genuine performance machinery. Each one of these cars represented a moment when Australian police forces recognized that catching criminals in fast cars required fast cars of their own. From the reliable Valiant Regal to the legendary Phase 3, these weren't ordinary patrol vehicles. They were muscle cars with badges. The 1970s represented a unique era when performance and law enforcement intersected in ways that would never be repeated. Emissions regulations, insurance pressures, and changing priorities meant the age of V8-powered police pursuit vehicles ended almost as quickly as it began. But for those few years, Australian police had access to machinery that could match nearly anything on the road, and that legacy remains one of the most distinctive chapters in Australian automotive history. Subscribe if you want, and thank you for watching this video.